This is After the Final Rose with Dante and Alana, a siblings podcast talking everything Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Welcome back, Bachelor Nation. We have a brand new episode, brand new season of the After the Final Rose podcast with Dante and Alana. And we are ready to dive in. Obviously, we just were not with our schedules able to do Bachelor in Paradise, but that's okay because it kind of was a very boring season. So it actually worked out in our favor, but we definitely are ready to talk about Michelle Young and her season. And yeah, I mean, Dante, what's new with you? I haven't really, well, I've actually talked to you, but the fans haven't talked to you since July or August.
Of course. I'm back at college, finishing up my last semester. Trying to figure out an internship for next semester out in Los Angeles. I've been trying to get in contact with The Bachelor, so I'm waiting to hear back about that.
Yeah, anyone that listens that has an in at The Bachelor, help us out because we know a lot about The Bachelor, but we don't know anyone there. So
yeah, well, someone's working in my favor right now.
good.
So we're working on something, but not much really. I almost done with my semester, honestly. I have like 6 more weeks, and then I'm an alumni of Ithaca College.
Crazy, you'll be joining me, and then we're gonna have to find some time to be able to make 3 hours. Actually, it probably will work in our benefit with you being in LA because you're gonna be 3 hours behind me. So by my late nights of getting out at work, it probably will be normal time for you.
Yeah, that's gonna make watching The Bachelor in January tough.
Yeah, I will say when I was out there, it was Ben Higgins season. And I remember my roommate actually had an entertainment podcast at Ithaca College. And she would talk all entertainment news. And so they would do a Bachelor recap every week. And I remember the finale, I had to stay off of social media all night because everyone from home, like in New York and on that coast, was posting, was talking about it, and I hadn't got to watch yet. So I was so mad because it got ruined for me because I literally couldn't stay off social media. So yeah, you're definitely gonna have to, or else you're just gonna get spoiled every single episode.
Yeah, I also know, like, I watch it on a site here that will let me watch it in New York time, so I could always do that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, but it'll be tough.
All right, well, why don't we just dive in? Just want to say, surprisingly, which I know not a lot of people were fans of Katie. I really thought Michelle would have a better turnout just because she was a fan favorite. But she actually ended up having an even lower premiere rating than Katie did. So now she is ranked the lowest rated season. They had, I want to say, like, Katie had 3.5 million viewers, and last night they had a 0.79 rating and 3 million viewers, which is obviously a downgrade from Katie's. So I don't know, I guess you had mentioned beforehand you think that people are just bachelored out, which I get. But hopefully her season will be good and more people will tune in because I definitely I'm a fan of her.
Yeah, I think people love Michelle. It's just back to back to back.
Yeah, it's like a lot.
To back seasons. Like, it went straight from Claire's and Tayshia's season into Matt's season. Matt's season went straight into Katie's season. Katie's season went straight into Bachelor in Paradise. Now Bachelor in Paradise is going into Katie's season, and then we're gonna have the same effect with the Bachelor, Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise coming next year.
That's crazy. I think they tried to like do it because we went so long without shows, but honestly, like, we don't need, and like during the fall, that's when like every main TV show also comes back. So it's like, they were fighting last night with like The Voice, on NBA, like there were so many episodes, like so many other things better on last night that like it's kind of tough.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna fight like that all season, especially obviously they're not gonna be on Monday. That's because one, Dancing with the
I wonder if
Stars.
that affects it.
I'm sure it's one, Dancing with the Stars, and it's also Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
That's a reason why they won't do that in the fall. I think the
that's
ratings
true.
will start to pick up. I also think people honestly forgot about Michelle's season because I know so many people
Bachelor in
I
Paradise
talked to.
just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just went straight into her season. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. But overall, I think it'll be a good season. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's just jump right in. So we get like a little bit of a, typical intro of them just showing us Michelle's life and her experience on The Bachelor, and just how she was brought up with her family, and which if you watch that season, you know that like she talked about it a lot. Like her parents had just love that everybody strives for, and she wanted that too. And so we get to see her parents again, and they definitely don't seem as skeptical as they were on that season. But I feel like I went into this episode not thinking that Michelle is in it for the fame. She's just a genuinely good person, and I'm actually like really excited for her journey. I think that it just tells the story that she literally asked Bachelor to let her be the fall Bachelorette because she didn't want to give up teaching, where I don't think anyone else would have done that. They would have given up their job in a heartbeat to be on TV and be famous and make money. So for her to like still want to be a teacher is just like enough to win me over.
Yeah, I agree. And it sort of all starts off with her in the classroom too. And that's key to who she is. She talked about it on her season. She's going to talk about it a lot, I'm sure, this season. Yeah, I was curious to see what group of guys came in. And there were a lot of instant, I was like, oh, this guy could be Paradise. This guy could be the next Bachelor. I think overall there's a good group of guys. One that I would say stood out to me. I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head. Well, one, I really thought the pizza guy was funny. I don't think he'll go far, but he came in the entrance and he was like bada boom and then chucked the pizza up in the air. I thought it was funny. So someone I wanted to bring up, he was one of the earlier entrances, was Joe. Joe was the one, they meet, they hugged, and she was like, do I know you? And she was like, did I slide into your DMs? And I was like, oh, that's funny that she slid into his DMs. They talk about it a little bit, but they don't give much of a backstory. But I thought that was funny. I thought right away, I could tell this guy, could go far.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I was very curious on, when they said that he was from Michigan, he played basketball, like he
Minnesota.
kept saying all these Minnesota. He kept saying all these similarities. And I was like, they had to have crossed paths. Like, it's not, I don't know. It'd be like the same thing. I feel like if one of us went on and like they were from Syracuse, they played the same sport as you, like you probably crossed paths or you have mutual friends. So I was like, this is kind of weird. But then when she said that, I have to be honest, I don't know how I feel about him, because I'm not going to say I don't believe the excuse he gave when she pulled him aside and like asked him about it, why he ghosted her. Because obviously later on she like tells Caitlin and Tayshia that she knew him and that he ghosted her. And she was like, but I still like want him to be here. Like I want to get answers. And I feel like his answer just seemed like a very by the book, like scripted answer. And I just don't know if I believe it.
Yeah. The thing with that, and that why I was kind of thinking, why is it made such a big deal, is because she said they started talking about like basketball, and it wasn't like, oh, hey, do you want to go get dinner sometime, ghost. It was, they were talking about basketball, and that's why I was like, is this being made more of a big deal than it should be?
Oh, yeah, true.
And then it kind of escalates later on in the episode. But I don't know. You know, he gave me good vibes other than kind of ghosting her. But I think he could go far, but I also don't know, because we kind of see every season, if they do know them, they get sent home early.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely before, like, because they do a what's it called, like a intro clip of him before he meets her, and I definitely originally was like, oh my god, he's so cute. He seems like perfect for her, like good guy, same background, and raised the same way. But then after I don't know, it was like when she was like, oh, did I slide into your DMs? And he kind of was like, yeah, and just like kept walking, like he didn't want to answer it. And I was like, what? Like, you're just gonna avoid the question? So I don't know, kind of made me second guess. But anyways, I actually think a lot of guys had a good intro, like more than I would have actually expected. I'm trying to think. I really liked Nate. I thought his line was like very cute.
I forget what he
better
said,
Nate
but
than never.
Yeah.
I was like, that was so cute, so right on the point. I did like, but I think he gave me Greg vibes from Katie's season, was Chris, the Southern gentleman. Very good looking. He showed up in like a backpack on the school bus. I was like, this guy is on, like, it was perfect. Everything he did was perfect. But I do get like those Greg vibes. I don't know how to explain it. He just his personality reminded me of him.
Oh yeah. Somebody, I forget what I was gonna say. I mean, I'm looking through these guys because I can never remember any of their names yet.
Well, they all play basketball. It's like they come out of the woodworks.
What I was gonna say is I debate every season whether I think it's cringy and necessary to relate your entrance into to like the teaching and basketball. It's just because it's so it's basic.
It's overplayed.
It is overplayed, and then you have so many guys doing it.
Right.
Obviously, you can't coordinate with the other guys.
Are you gonna say the guy with a ruler?
No, that was Clayton.
Oh.
I think it was Clayton.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
I just feel like so many were like not original. I did. I did like.
Yeah.
Everybody probably hated him. I thought the guy in the table was funny.
So
Rick.
can I tell you? So originally I had written down in my notes that I thought it was the creepiest thing. I was like, this is so weird. But when he finally came out of the table and like sat down and talked to her, I was like, oh, I kind of forgot they were the same person. I was like, I actually like this guy.
Yeah. I got good vibes from him.
Yeah, the intro was weird. I mean, it's memorable. She'll definitely remember it. But I was like, oh no, is he gonna? And then he stayed in it for a while. So I was like, I don't know. This guy's creeped me out. But then when he came out of the table, he so surprised me.
I thought it was so hilarious. The guy's name was Daniel. He was a firefighter. He came in and the little one. He was like, yeah, I'm a firefighter, yada yada. And then it cuts right to a guy pulling in a fire truck. I think he said something like, I couldn't bring a fire truck with me, so I wanted to drive this in. And then a guy pulls up in an actual fire truck. And I literally
wrote it. I wrote it down. So Daniel shows up and he wrote, I heard there's a fire and you're the smoke show. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. And then this guy, PJ, I was dying. He shows up in a full thing. And honestly, I actually really liked Daniel's reaction. Like, he wasn't like, oh, this tool bag, blah, blah. Like, he was like, Oh man, I came on a small truck. Like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
he was like laughing at himself for it. And oh my God, I could not stop laughing. I was like, oh, this poor guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys I liked. Casey, I don't know if you have the list pulled up in the pictures, but Casey, he's 36, advertising creative director. He is like not, I don't know about he's like without the beard, he's like a spitting image of what's his name? Dak Shepard. The hair's a little darker, but he reminds me of Dak Shepard, the way he talks and the way he looks. I want to throw that out there.
I don't agree, but I also watched Grey's Anatomy like from the day one. So, who else? Okay, so I'm really not going to give a full opinion on Clayton because obviously, like everybody, if you are a Bachelor Nation person or fan or anything, you know that like it's just all over the internet that he's the next Bachelor. I hate when they do this, and they did this for Rachel, but at least they waited until she was like in the final 4 to like leak stuff. Obviously ABC hasn't made like an official announcement that it's him, but there's been like paparazzi photos and stuff that it's him. And I'm just like, so I don't even want to, like, it's kind of just makes you not even want to care or acknowledge him because it's like, well, you already know from day one, he's not gonna last. Yeah. So even if he makes it till the end, you know, he's not it. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, but I thought he was cute.
There's not much they could have really done other than pick somebody not from this season, just because they had to start taping now. But yeah. It's a little questionable, and we're gonna be able to see, but he must have just blown them away. That they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna jump the gun on this before anybody has a chance to react, which it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. So I also had I'm trying to think. Oh, Brandon, I thought was really cute. He had a good head on his shoulder, but I do think, I mean, he's 26. He looks very young. He's got like a baby face. I'm trying to think. We need to touch on the fact that Caitlin and Tayshia, so before like all the guys got out of the limo, we're kind of hopping around. But I feel like first night you kind of have to hop around because it's all out of order. But so they decided to go to people's rooms and go through them, which I get like it worked in Michelle's favor, but to me, I absolutely hated it. I was like, I feel like ever since Chris left, they're trying to incorporate Caitlin and Tayshia more into the season, but it's like, this is not their story. This is Michelle. So like, let them just be the host. Like, why are they going through people's stuff and like,
so my thoughts on that is
cringy.
I assume it was staged in a way, not that they planted it. They wouldn't do that. I think that I might be completely wrong. I think there's some type of bag check that these producers have to do, make sure they don't have weapons or anything. And then they're like, oh, look at this. How can we incorporate this? They make Tayshia and Caitlin go in and go through. Because what are the odds? And that's why
they only showed 2 people. They can't just pick one person and show one person because then it's obvious. So yeah, they have to do someone else's who had like nothing. And then they went through this Ryan guys who at first I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. He works on a farm. Like he's perfect. And then of course they've got all this paperwork for the Bachelorette and like how to win girls over, how to be like Jason, how to be, and then they even went into details about stuff about like how to, I don't even remember. It was just very creepy.
Yeah. And I just don't get why you bring that. Like if you're going to
caught.
Like study it beforehand, not like don't bring it in your suitcase. That was
like if producers don't find it, I'm sure one of the guys are gonna find it and put you on blast.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on. And he kind of acted like he didn't ever watch the show, but kind of from what's written, I mean, he said his friend's wife wrote it, but like the way he was talking about it a little bit, you could tell he's watched the show. And
he was lying through his teeth.
Oh yeah. And they mentioned that he had been in the Bachelor pool for years. So clearly I'm sure he watched it. if you're in the pool for years, you got to be prepared.
Even if you don't watch it, like most people nowadays at least like pay attention to entertainment news or news, and they know something. Like maybe you don't know full details, but you definitely know like either who's the main person, or if it's like a headline that's big, like you know some stuff. I don't know. I just thought it was all like either staged, not even staged. I just think like the whole thing was just weird. But obviously then like it gets, well, we can just talk about it now. We don't have to do it in order, but Michelle gets told by Tayshia and Caitlyn. And so she, which I'm shocked, she was like, I want to go to your room and I want to see it. And so he lets her go through it. And it was so funny. I saw a meme that was like Michelle giving us teacher vibes, and she's got like all the paperwork in her hand and she's like flipping through it. So it's like, oh my God. But I'm glad she sent him home and didn't like pull like oh, I gotta think about this. Like just send him home. Clearly he doesn't like, everything's right there, clear as day for you.
Yeah. It's kind of another example in terms of like Tayshia and Caitlyn, just how much they're inserting them into the show. Just I don't know, kind of circling back to the entrances, just how they were cutting over constantly, like that is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I just kind of connected with this. You know, they had to send her in. They had to be like, oh, can we talk to you? They both were there. Like, if you're gonna do it, send one person in. I don't like the double host, and that's something we can talk about at the end in terms of the host for Clayton's season.
I was gonna say something. Yep.
And we can talk about that, but I'm just not a fan of the double host.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just too much. I'm trying to think of who else like made an impact. I like Jamie. He was the first one that got a rose besides the first impression one. Very bubbly, smiling right when he got out. I thought he was like, I really liked him. Who else? I thought the guy who had the foreign name, it was like Olu or Alamide, but he's Alamide. I thought it was funny that he used like an NBA draft line and was like something about her being his first pick or something. I'm trying to think of who else. I was super uncomfortable by the Mardi Gras. I don't remember his name. He had like the Mardi Gras beads, and like if you know what Mardi Gras is.
Oh, that was I wanna say, I'm looking through the list because I don't know anybody's names.
Brandon K. He had long hair.
It might have been Brandon K. And he was like, how would he say? I'll give you the beads when you show me your. And she was
do you know what Mardi? Do you know how people?
Well, continue.
Do you know what the purpose of Mardi Gras beads are?
No.
So in New Orleans, the whole thing is like females have to show their chest and flash people to get beads. So the more beads you have means that's what he was like trying to get across. But then he made it into like, I wanted you to show me your heart, but it was like way too long of a pause and it was very uncomfortable. I was like, this is really weird. And that's why she was like, no. And give him right back to him.
And I don't even see the connection because she's not from New Orleans.
I wonder if he is maybe.
If it's the Brandon guy, he's from Austin.
I don't even think anyone on here is from New Orleans, unless like that's where he's from, but he lives in Austin. I don't know.
Could be.
It was just weird. Who else? I liked Rodney. He was dressed as the apple. I thought he was cute.
Oh yeah. Never took it off either.
No, and I thought it was hilarious that when she was like, the Granny Smith apple is green. It's the only green apple.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy.
I would have picked like a macaroon or a Honey Crisp.
Yeah. Of course, there's an NFL player on there. Always got to have an NFL player.
Technically, there were two. Because Clayton's a former NFL player.
Of course he is.
Of course. That's guy.
Why he's a bachelor.
Yep. This guy, let's go back, see his name. Brian. He's actually a Super Bowl champion. He played.
So I was looking him up.
He played with the Chiefs. I'm trying to remember the Chiefs. But he
never played, right?
His first couple seasons he did. He didn't play much on the Super Bowl team. His first couple seasons he played a lot of games, and then he kind of started falling off.
Okay, because I kind of assumed when you look him up, it says he played on 6 different teams. So I thought like it was because he like never really played and he got moved from team to team.
I mean, I think he played like 6-7 seasons, but he recently was on the Chiefs team that won the Super Bowl. He was also drafted by the Chiefs.
Professional career started in 2016 when he played for Kansas City. He then went on to play for the Bears in 2018 and the Panthers in 2019. Then he came back to the Chiefs in 2020, only to then transfer to the Falcons in 2021. Stat-wise, he plays as a guard and is described, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they don't really say like if he was. Damn, that's a lot of teams.
Yeah. So he was thrown around a little bit, and he must have gotten drafted at an older age. So either he enlisted or he redshirted like 3 years.
I can tell you right now. So
because he would have gotten drafted at like 25 because he's 31.
So
now.
he's 26. He was 26 in 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, true.
Yeah. But in terms of the episode, aside from the entrances, there wasn't a lot that happened. I mean, we got some good conversations between Ricky once he got out from under the table. She had a really good conversation with Nate. They talked. I thought it was interesting at first. He was like something about his parents, and he said he didn't really want to open up about that yet. And then Michelle said,
which makes sense. He probably thought that like for him, like she's so like gung-ho on the fact that her parents have been married for all these years and she grew up watching just this perfect marriage. And he's like, my parents did not have a perfect marriage and they were divorced. And then I think his mom got remarried and divorced again. And like, I'd be kind of scared to tell the girl that I'm trying to date that when she's come from a perfect marriage. So I actually totally understood why he didn't want to tell her, but I'm glad she like pushed him to, because it ended up benefiting him. I mean, he got the first impression rose.
Yeah, I definitely think it worked in his favor. In terms of opening up, you definitely see a connection that sort of built right away, especially, they can both connect as well on interracial parents. And I think that's a big connection to build. Trying to think of some other really good conversations. I think she had a good conversation we mentioned it before, but Jamie, they sort of, and I remember she left that conversation like happy, and it cut to her after, and she was like, I'm very hopeful for what's to come next. So those are two people I thought she had really good conversations with.
Yeah, I think I remember she also did with Brandon J, which I thought in the beginning, like I said, he was really young and I just didn't think that they would have any type of good connection. But I think I remember them having a good conversation. And excuse me, same with who else? Will. I think Will stayed, right?
Will.
He's the one that came in and he
stayed.
Okay, that's what I thought. Rodney, I thought had a great conversation.
It's tough because the first episode they show conversations quick. You don't see all of them.
Yeah.
It's really hard to remember who's who, names of everybody. But definitely I would say guys like Nate stuck out, Rick or Ricky, whatever his name is. That's really all I can remember.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I mean, I thought she did have a cute conversation with Peter, because remember he gave her the cannolis and they were like eating the cannolis together and they had a cute little moment. I thought that went
And what human
in his
hasn't
favor.
eaten a cannoli?
Oh my God, I thought the same thing.
Especially being, I think she's like 30, 31, 32, around that age. She's getting older.
You've never had one? I mean, maybe if she's like has no Italian
I was
blood
about
in
to
her.
say, I was about to say, I don't think Minnesota's too much of an Italian state.
That's a good point.
So
that's a great point. But yeah, I thought overall everything went good. I mean, I was obviously shocked that she sent Ryan home right away, which like props to her. Of course, like she gave out all the roses and Joe was her last pick. Which I knew that was going to happen because that's just typical Bachelor world. But I did think it was funny. I feel like a lot of the boys kept mentioning like some type of comment, like either they played basketball or they liked basketball or like, I don't know. It just was constantly brought up and it just was weird. It was like, she's not I mean, I guess she is known as a basketball player, but like she's a teacher. She's
it's
not
a
professional basketball player. Yeah.
And she played college basketball like 10 years ago.
Like
right. It's not even like she's 24 and she just graduated. It was a while back.
Right.
So, and that goes back to my point about the entrances. Like when's enough?
Yeah, for sure. But it's like the same thing with Peter and the windmill and all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh yeah. That's pretty. I think that was pretty much the episode. Unless I'm missing anything, we got a glimpse into this season. As they always say, it's going to be the best season ever, the most dramatic season in Bachelor history. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I am
glad that she's a Bachelor. I think that we need to see more color on this show, and I am really, like I would have rather had her than Katie, but I think that she is a great person to have on because she just truly is a good person and like isn't in it for the clout or the money or the fame, and that's what you need. And so which may end up making it a boring season. I mean, who knows? I mean, they did the preview and there wasn't really as much drama as I had expected.
It's like the first season, at least in years, where there's not a scene of the Bachelor, Bachelorette running away, crying, saying, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah.
Literally, like Katie had it. Who was Matt? I think Tayshia had it, Peter. Yeah. This goes on and on.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I was like surprised. I just feel like it's probably going to be a good season because she is she's a normal person, but like when it comes to drama and all that stuff, we may not really get a lot of it.
Yeah. And I'll be curious to see, how much how they market this season. I'm just thinking from a media standpoint, her big thing was she didn't want to be the Bachelorette because she didn't want to leave class. But, they're going to have to market her on shows like Good Morning America. They're going to have to market her places like ET, like get her out to promote the show. But like, is she going to leave? Like school?
That is a great question. I'm looking right now because now that I think of it, normally they're on Good Morning America the next day. And I don't think I saw anything. I don't think she was on this morning.
At least not that I saw. And usually they're always on Jimmy Kimmel as well.
Yep.
Usually always they're on Jimmy Kimmel or at least soon after.
Yeah, I don't see anything on her. Maybe they did a recap today, but they didn't interview her. Was she on Jimmy Kimmel last?
I don't think so.
That's like a great point. I wouldn't have even. No, Mara Morris was on last night performing, but I don't think she was on it either. So yeah, I mean, but she could always zoom in.
She could. That's just something I thought off the top of my head. It'll be interesting to see what they do because she won't want to leave there. I mean, she could do pre-recorded things on the weekends.
Yeah, that's true.
She has made it known that she wants to be there with her kids in class. So
yeah. So we talked about all of this episode. I know you want to touch on who the next host is, and then I don't know if maybe we want to just say any updates on like the Bachelor in Paradise people or what you thought of I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the finale. I just ended up because the last 2 episodes were boring. I ended up just going on social media the next day and finding out for myself.
So obviously if you've seen the news, Jesse Palmer is the next host of The Bachelor. It's still undetermined if he's, or at least that I've seen, if he's the permanent host. They didn't really make it. They didn't make it clear.
I don't think they're gonna yet.
They promoted it like he was, and everything I saw, it was to be announced. People weren't too happy about it. And what's so funny is I kept seeing everywhere that they should have kept it in-house, like in Bachelor Nation. And the thing is exactly, and people don't know that. And he's probably more Bachelor Nation than like anybody when you really think about it, because he was the Bachelor, he was the host of The Proposal, and he was also just the host of like the surfing dating show, whatever that was.
Yeah, and he's on ESPN, right, as a broadcaster.
Yeah, so he's embedded in ABC.
Yeah, and he also has like he's actually like has hosting experience on like Tasha and Caitlyn.
Yep, and that's that's what I kept telling people is that when you really think about it, he's the only like actually like what's the word for it? He's the only person like experienced to actually
qualified.
Yeah, he's the only person qualified to do the job.
Yeah.
Like I know people wanted Tasha, they wanted Wells, which I think Wells would have been great. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, this could just be an audition.
So besides Bachelor, what you said, he's also been a columnist for the Sports Network in Canada. He's a contributor to ABC's Good Morning America.
Yep, he hosted
the holiday. Since 2017, he's hosted the Holiday Baking Championship on the Food Network.
Yep.
He was the host of Daily Mail TV.
Yep.
So like he really is very qualified to host a show. Not that I think you need to be. But no, he's perfect. I'll be honest, because I didn't watch his season. So when they first announced it, I was like, why would they make an ESPN broadcaster? But then I was listening to a podcast that I listen to all the time, and they were talking about the same thing we're saying. It's just like he's actually perfect for it. Like he has a career in it. He went to school for it, like all that stuff.
Yep. And I think people just wanted their typical Bachelor people right now. But the thing is those people right now, like Wells, was once Jesse Palmer. So like he might bring in an older crowd that used to be with the show. He might bring in a new crowd with sports people, but what's going to be so great is they're not going to make the story about him, which is what it needs to go back to.
Nope. Yeah, no, he'll be perfect. I think you're going to have a lot of speculation because I think people thought that they would, because of what happened and how Chris was fired, that it would be not another like white rich male. But I personally think that he's going to be perfect for this role.
Definitely. I agree. With other Bachelor news, you had mentioned the end of Bachelor in Paradise. There's a bunch of couples. You you have Joe and Serena engaged, Marissa and Riley engaged.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of who else.
Mari and Kenny.
Mari and Kenny engaged. Thomas and Becca dating. Noah and Abigail dating.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. What's
Tia
his
has a
name?
boyfriend now who's not Bachelor.
Tia does have a boyfriend. What is the guy who left the show because everybody pretty much kicked him off? He's dating that girl.
Chris.
Yes.
Alana.
Yes,
Alana?
they. I don't remember. They date, and I think that's it.
And Brendan and Piper apparently are still together.
They broke up.
No, but yeah, I know. And then they just announced that they're back together.
Fair.
Yeah. So
they threw way too many people down in Paradise. It was something because then couples just kept breaking up. I don't know if you ever saw the exit of Aaron and James, but that was hilarious.
No, but I saw it on social media and it cracked me up. I loved them together. I thought they were so entertaining.
I personally came to love James. I'm not a big fan of Aaron, but James in Paradise, just because he kept getting just screwed over by every person.
Yeah, he was friend zone the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. And somehow he
They'll bring him back for another season.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, he could have been somebody that would have made a decent Bachelor. Yeah. I don't think he became too big of a figure, but he could have been somebody that would have been good.
Yeah.
But yeah, another Bachelor in Paradise has come and gone. On to a new season with Michelle. I'm excited to see what happens with her. And if she finds anybody. Also, something to add. There's an episode, because I saw from the preview tonight, one at the Twins game, but also at the Minnesota Vikings stadium. So I'll be very curious to see if they incorporate a Minnesota Viking. So that's what I want to see.
I did think they were at a football, but then, or no, maybe I thought it was basketball and I was wondering if it was a team. But yeah, that's.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see, you can see her throwing out the first pitch at the Twins game in the preview.
Okay. So I wonder if those are during hometowns.
It could be.
Her hometown, because why would.
Yeah, I don't know.
They go to Minnesota if they're staying in one. Or actually, no, did it come out that they weren't staying put?
No, they're moving around all around the United States.
So then that makes sense. Okay.
And then I know Clayton Season's returning to the mansion, as well as other countries. So that'd be good to see that again and not the same old basic dates. Also, they didn't even mention last night, unless I just missed it, where this is taping. Usually they always do. They just didn't say.
That's a good point. I don't.
And they didn't even say the name of the hotel that they stayed in. They always do.
No, they showed her hotel and they said she was staying in one. But you're right. I don't think. Mm-hmm. I don't think maybe because they're not staying put.
That's probably the case. It could be anyway.
It was filmed. Actually, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Renaissance Esmeralda Resort and Spa. Oh, they did say Indian Wells. I'm sorry. They did say that they were in Indian Wells, California, but I don't think they said the name of the hotel, the resort.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so hopefully there's not boring dates again, the same repeated dates we've seen in all these quarantine seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that pretty much wraps it up on After the Final Rose with Alana and Dante. If you don't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at ATFR_podcast, as well as on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, as well as other podcast streaming platforms. Make sure to like it and follow it so you know when we post, and so you can listen then. But that's all for us, and we'll see you after the next episode. Hopefully we get to actually meet more of the guys, because you never know who from the first episode will come out of nowhere in the second episode, and could become an early front runner.
Yeah, for sure. yeah, we look forward to doing this again next week. And hopefully by then, maybe we'll have some front runners of our own that we can guess.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.